everyone, thanks for joining us today for today's Day in the Life, and today we'll be chatting to Erika. Hi Erika, thanks for joining me today. We'll be talking to Erika about her Supermums journey, but just to give you a bit of an intro to Supermums, I had to update this slide today because very excitingly we've hit just over 400 Supermums that we've trained through our programs, and indeed a few dads and a few non-parents as well. We've supported over 102 charities with that work and have some fantastic mentors who support our trainees too. And actually, we're going to be talking a little bit about Erika's experience of working with a mentor later. We've now got 4 courses, our administrator course, which Erika has taken and we'll be talking about today, but we've also got a consultancy course to build on your skills, a marketing cloud course for those of you interested in becoming marketing automation experts, and also we have a coaching program to really help you set your goals and make sure you work towards achieving them. We've got some great company sponsors who work with us on our programs as well. So many thanks to all of them for working with us, especially St James's Place Wealth Management, who are the sponsor of our administrator course that we're going to be talking about today. They sponsor us in the UK, and Validity for our course for all our participants that are out in the US. So we've got Erika with us today. I'm going to stop sharing now, Erika. It's a lovely picture of you, but would like to see your face live and in person today. Thanks so much for joining us. So do you want to just give us a brief overview of yourself and your role and what you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Erika. I work as a Salesforce Developer for Deutsche Bank. A typical day will be at 9 o'clock. We have a team meeting with all my colleagues to discuss what we did the day before, what was the blockers, more likely in terms of the code, and what is the strategy for the day coming, and if we need any help to organize the call during the day. And then pretty much after that call, we will be calling each other to find a solution or helping each other. We will be, most of the time, it's every 2 weeks we're delivering something. So we will have to prepare show and tell. So to show to the user what we've been delivering, how to use it, and etc. And so basically the day is not all day in front of your computer coding. It's, I will say, it's 25% meeting, 50% coding and researching, and then a hard one on like trying to think on a piece of paper or just like think on how to solve the problem. And that's a typical day.
Yeah, that's really interesting actually, because I do think people think of developers as just sitting there all day typing away at their screen. So it's interesting that you said there's lots of other things you have to do, including all those meetings. I think that's a bit a bit different to what a lot of people think. So that's what you're doing now, a developer. Fantastic, and we're really proud of you for achieving that. But let's kind of wind back a little bit and talk about how you got to that point. So we've probably got some people watching who are thinking about, oh, do I start a career in Salesforce? Is it for me? You know, should I take the administrator course? So you took our administrator course. So let's wind back to what you were doing before you took the course and what made you decide to take it.
So before I took the course, I was, I don't know how to say it in English, but a housewife with my kids for 4 years. And before that, I was working in digital transformation programs. So answering why and what was digital transformation at that point. And so I was thinking, okay, what can I do with my life when I come back to work? And basically, I knew it will be something digital because I knew this is where the future was. And I was like, okay, instead of doing the what and the why, that is kind of outdated, like 5 years, 6 years later, then I said, okay, let's try to find something on the how to do things, how to be digital. And I use Salesforce as an end user. And Salesforce is so good at equality for women that it was one of the main reasons I was like, okay, they are programmed to help mothers to return to work, like the Supermoms. We have equal salary. It's something that we can pick up and it's digital. So that was mainly the reason why I picked Salesforce. And they were a good community.
That's the important part of it. Yeah, people quite like buying into the whole kind of brand and ethos of Salesforce. Like you talked a lot about their commitment to things like diversity and equality and this idea of Ohana and the community, which is really important part of what we do at Supermums and what Salesforce does. And I think we'll circle back round to that and some of your involvement in the community shortly. We'll come back to that. But first of all, let's concentrate on your experience of the course. So it includes mentorship and work experience during the course. Did you mind telling us a little bit about your experience of, for example, working with a mentor?
Yes, so I was very lucky because my mentor was really, really nice. So if you hear me, thank you so much. He was based in, I think, in Sweden. Somehow, you can hear from my accent, I'm French. They managed to find me a French speaker mentor. And it was very good because he was there every week during our call, which it was important for me because I will kind of build my homework based on our discussion. So on Tuesday morning, we will have our class session. And then in the afternoon, they will send the homework. So I will start to brainstorm and say, okay, start to work on the homework, not the trailhead. So I can show him on Thursday what I've done and show him, okay, I don't understand this, or this is not working, or what can I do, how can we change it? And usually our call was at 1 o'clock on Thursday. And it's a very good day because then after the call with him, I still have 2 hours before I pick up my kids to like manage my thing. And by Thursday evening, I will have finished the homework and have some trailhead to do. So I think without my mentor, it would have been much more difficult because they pick up things very quickly. They know instantly what is wrong, like which step we miss, because the Supermom are very good at putting you in a position as if you were consultants. So they're not giving you all the answer, just enough for you to know. And they know that with the mentor, you will be able to like make it work. So it was one of the reasons actually I signed up. It was because of the mentor and because of the project, because otherwise I would have been scared to fail. Yeah.
I think you brought up a couple of really good points there, and they're key kind of quite unique points about our course is, yes, the mentorship, and we have this global set of volunteers, which is really great from all over the world. So we do, where possible, like if we have trainees who speak another language as their first language, we do try and make those matches if possible. It's not always possible. But as well with the projects, we try to make some good projects with things that you're going to be interested in. And I think what the mentors are really helpful for, especially I had a similar relationship with my mentor where we had a regular meeting and it kept me accountable to make sure I actually got stuff done and had that structure to make sure I worked through things on time and actually made good progress. So that was, yeah, I think the mentors are really, really great for that. Thanks for sharing your insight on that. You also mentioned about working on a project. What was your experience of working on the live project?
Again, I was working with a French agency, but the team was international. So the project manager was actually Irish, but living in France. And the business analyst was American. Well, she still is American and based in San Francisco and in Paris. So we were all working remotely, which I think was very good, especially since COVID after arrived, then I could show that I could work virtually. And it was a brand new implementation for her customers. So it was actually very good because all the knowledge we built with the homework of Supermoms, and they teach us to do Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, and we did the HR app. So it makes you like really comfortable to go into a new project. Think, oh, I'm a newbie, I just did like homework, but then the homework you did appear to be extremely helpful and relevant because it's pretty much whatever you did in the homework is pretty much what you will be asked to do in the during the project. So you learn new things because of course the client wants things in a certain way, but you just consolidate all your knowledge, and that makes you really comfortable and confident to go later for interviews, because then you can say, no, I know Salesforce, because I know how to do this and this and this. I've done it in my homework, and this is my homework, and I've done it for that client, and the team is happy with my work. So it doesn't matter, it was only a 3-month course. I'm actually really capable at the end of it.
Yeah.
And before I joined Supermom, I asked, would I have like a project, because that is like a unique selling point. And they say yes, and I was like, okay, a mentor and a project. So yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, it was designed to hang together and to really prepare you step by step by step. So I think some people say, oh, why does it take, a while? Because it's nearly 6 months, but we're really preparing you for a role, not just to pass that exam. Yes, you pass the exam, but also be ready and be competent and be prepared to actually go for a job as well. Yeah, which you have.
The project is 3 months. So it's like 3 months training, and then 3 months project. Yeah.
And at the end of it, you obviously got your administrator exam, and then you're like, what do I do next? And for you thought about code. So let's talk a little bit about that, because definitely when people come off the administrator course, there are lots of different options, and certainly going into administration is one of them, and sticking with that decorative point and click side of things. There's some great careers you can have in that, but you decided to take the code option, and it's not one that a huge amount of people choose to do. So what made you think that? What was your thought process, and what made you decide to do it?
Well, first, I think is when you do the admin certification, everybody tell you do the app builder, because it's 80% of it. And it is true. With Supermoms, it's 80% of it. So you only have to learn 20%. And those 20%, it's already kind of like, it's not something you will use a lot if you just say admin. So it kind of prepare you. And then when I was going to interviews for administrator role, then they all asked me to code. Are you willing to code? And I was like, I'm willing, but I don't know how to code. So then say, okay, if already now I'm going for interviews and they're asking me to code, I'd rather just like learn now. Yeah. Because again, I saw it's okay, I haven't worked for 5 years. So the stigma of, oh, you have young kids, you haven't worked for 5 years. It's difficult to re-enter in the workplace. I was like, okay, then let's give it a go. And that was pretty much why I wasn't too scared, because I still think that it's logic. So even if you face a lot of bugs, it's a language, and I speak 3 languages. I thought I could speak another one. It's just to communicate with computer can be hard. They are not emotional. So that's pretty much yeah. So if so many people does it, I can do it. There's a lot of women in the Salesforce ecosystem who are developers who inspired me, that did not have a degree in computer science, and yet they are architects or they are developers. So I was like, okay, the market is asking for it. I'm not stupid. I will pick it up at one point. I just have to start. And that's pretty much the reason I went that road.
The confidence to go for it. And I think it is a good thing when you're thinking about what roles do you want to go for, because there are some admin roles out there, but also thinking about what am I good at, what can I do, what's the supply and demand as well out there, and keeping your finger on the pulse of what is happening in the Salesforce ecosystem, so you can understand and be a bit ahead of the curve and have those skills. And also the salary increases that inevitably come with that when you get more and more skilled as well, and to put yourself on that path for those kind of roles. So really well done. So how did you go about learning it? And well, I was going to say you're still learning, I guess, it's never ending.
Yeah. Right? You never stop learning. So that is like number one. I'm not sure I learned the right way, to be honest, because I started with Trailhead, and you'll pick up things, but it's really, really hard at the beginning because it's too much information in one go, and the exercise are very hard for a junior level, like really junior, like just do one method to return something really simple. So I will advise to do David Liu course, just because it's simple enough that you can do it. The code that he provides you, it's actually working. There is no, it depends of your org or how it's set up. It's just like if you have the field and the object, then it will work. There is no more complication. So definitely that on plural sites. I did some course on Udemy with, I forgot her name, an Indian lady. And you go through a lot of course. So it does not mean you will read the code and understand all the code, but at least you will not be scared of code anymore, because you will know to read the essential. And I always say, I don't read the full code, I read in diagonal. I read the first line, I read the line of my method and what it returns me. And then I'm like, okay, I know what it's doing. Well, now I can learn more than that, but that was my thought at the beginning. And then basically you start doing the trailhead, and you go to a lot of the developer communities just to see how others are doing, how they're learning, how they explain you, because I have a really nice mentor. So thank you again for the people who help me when I'm trying to understand something and it's just not sinking in my head. So I will highly recommend, if you want to be a developer, find a mentor. I find them on Salesforce communities. Yeah, that highly recommend it. And just like pick up books on Salesforce, they are on Amazon, the trailheads, to get practice and to read a lot of the code. That will help you for the PD1, because PD1 was the most, I was scared of it. But then when I did it, I was like, oh, the answer was in the question. And then if you look enough code, you will pick up the things that are wrong, like it's missing a semicolon at the end, or you're doing a query, but there is not the right syntax for it. So it's the beginning, it's hard, but just for a short amount of time. And then you will pick up very quickly when you're in the job and you have people who look at your code every day and say, okay, what's going on? You explain what you did. You tell, okay, I'm blocked here. This is this line that is throwing error and I don't know what to do. And then come and they say, okay, that is because of this. This is how you rewrite the code. And then with that, I think in 1 year, you are a good developer. You're not amazing, but you are a very good developer. And then you just keep learning, but it's incremental. It's like the same way as an admin, you are intense for 6 months and then you learn for every single release.
Yeah.
It's the same developer.
That's an important thing to understand when you're getting into Salesforce, and probably any tech really, but particularly with Salesforce, it's a learning. You're always learning. It's not like you do the cert and you're finished. That's just the beginning, really. The certification, you then continue to learn. And you just mentioned PD1 there, which for those of you watching who may be new to Salesforce is the Platform Developer 1 certification, and it's one of the first on the steps to kind of getting serious about code, but you don't need to know how to write code to take that exam. It's literally looking at it and understanding what it is going to do, if I'm correct. And a lot of people, even if you don't want to be a developer, go for that exam because it helps you work with developers later, just to understand, even if you're an admin, what code might be doing in your org. And then you can perhaps go on and decide if development is for you, or if you want to try something else. You mentioned loads of times there about a mentor, and you found one through the Salesforce community. So let's just talk about the Salesforce community and how much that has kind of supported you on your journey. So obviously you kind of came into Supermums, so that is kind of the entry point to the Salesforce community, if you like. We've got our Supermums community and our Supermums alumni community. How did you go about building connections that really helped you kind of empower your learning journey?
Well, I think the good thing is the Supermom community goes around your own cohort. So I meet a lot of different Supermom that was in cohort before me. That introduced me to different groups. And then Supermoms, well, they are well known in France as well, because we have Vicky, but you have all the people who did the training. So then they introduce you to different groups in a different country. And then pretty much, I think the good thing with Salesforce is you can say, I want to learn, I don't know where to start. And people will tell you, oh, because that's what I did. I said, I want to learn. They say, oh, go to David Leo, because I didn't know who he was. I'm sorry, now I know who you are, but I didn't know. So they told me this. Then they say, I was like, okay, I'm still struggling on the trailhead. It's really hard. They say, okay, why don't to look at that Udemy course. And then when I needed to speak with somebody, actually a lot of people are like, oh yeah, let's have a call, and then I explain you what it means. So that was good. And then now, since a couple of months, I am part of a London Salesforce Developer group, a very nice bunch of guys and me. But they are very helpful when it's needed. They understand that a lot of more women wants to learn to code. So they make sessions that are for all levels. And yeah, if it wasn't for the community, I think I would have potentially say, maybe I'm not made for it. But with the community, you realize it's just, it is possible. And it's easier than we think. We just have to be confident, be resilient, and reach out and say, okay, I don't understand that logic, or I don't know how to make that work. Who can help me? And then you will see the answer was so simple. You're like, why? But because they have the eye, and you have to have the eye of a developer. This is something you build, is not you have it. So the community is a huge, huge value. And the Supermom is a huge value, because just saying, I don't know, in my office, I did put in my presentation that I did the Supermom course, and then all of a sudden people say, oh, I did the Supermom course as well. And so it kind of follows you, and then it helps you. So yeah.
Great, and it's helped you, I would hope, get into the position you're in now. Let's talk a little bit about how you got your role that you're in now, and a little bit about how you went about getting that role, and how you felt during that time, like going for a developer role. How did you feel about that? Were you confident? Was it nerve-wracking? And how did you approach it?
Well, I was definitely very excited. The good thing, I didn't lie in my interview. I tell them I'm self-taught. I'm confident to do 5 lines of code. After that, I will need support, because there is gaps in my knowledge. So I wasn't coming so hard. I think if you come and you lie, then you will cry, because it's definitely it's not intuitive. But yeah, I remember when I came, I was like so happy, and I was like, okay, I'm going to learn, I'm going to be a developer, I'm going to be able to write, and then it's going to work. So I wasn't I wasn't scared. But again, I wasn't scared because I knew that one, I did not lie. So it's not like you knew what you will get. Yeah. And the second thing, I was like, worst case scenario, well, not worst case scenario, but I was like, I still have the Salesforce network. So if I don't understand something, it's not like I'm on my own. I can ask people around. Of course, I work for a company. You can divulge any code or any information, but you can always ask, okay, if I want to return the data, how can I do it? This is, instead of Googling and looking at code that is badly written, you can ask somebody that tells you in 3-4 lines, okay, this is pretty much a line of thought on how you can go about it. So I wasn't so scared.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. And I think it is that thing of knowing that, having the confidence to know that even if you don't know it, you will know it. You can figure it out. And that's part of, enjoying learning and understanding, and that is always going to be part of the process.
And all developers do copy Google. So already people told me that before, because I was like, am I supposed to know that by heart? It's like, no, everybody Google, everybody check. So then now I know that it is true. Like we will think of the problem and how to solve the problem, but the syntax itself, you can learn it by heart because you will do it so often. Or if you don't know, you Google it and then you have it. So there's no shame on Googling. As a developer, there is no shame of Googling. Google is your best friend.
I like that.
Yeah.
We'll use that. Well, I was about to ask, like, one of my next question was going to be, what is your top tip for someone considering getting into development and being a Salesforce developer? So Google is your friend. That can be a good one to start with. But is there anything else?
I would say join developer groups. Find the people you can speak about code. because obviously administrator, it's a big pool of people. A developer, it's a bit more, it's a smaller. And yeah, I will say join groups, find one or two people that you can talk to, just to like go through, you know, what are the bugs or the things you don't understand, because reading sometimes is not the solution. You need to speak to somebody. And I will say do some course. You have the Red Woman that I'm doing now. It's amazing. Their course.
It's quite a competitive program. You apply to it, but it's free, isn't it? And you apply.
Program. It runs twice a year, and it's 2 levels. You have the first level, and you need to do the first level in order to do the second level. So, and this course is for people who did not do an engineering program before. There is no requirement apart of not knowing how to code, and it takes you through the journey. Their presentations are always like really clear, explaining you in day-to-day things rather than telling you an instance of variable is an instance of variable. You're like, okay. No, they tell you what it is exactly and how it's mean physically you had in your hands. So highly recommend the Red Woman. It's similar in the sense that you're still part of a community. So you learn with other women, then you can brainstorm, you can communicate. So that's a good thing. To apply, I will say you follow them on Twitter, and usually in January and in July, this is when they start for the applicants to apply. So if you miss the deadline for January for a course to start in March, you will have to wait to July, go to the meetings and then put your application and then wait. They always look for a coach. So for all the developers who wants to help us, then please be a coach for the Red Woman. It would be great. You are helping the super moms, the Red Woman, people like me, other future developers that will come into the market. So the Red Woman, there is also the Nology course. It's more expensive. It's £7,000. It's a full stack developer. So you learn Java, React, JavaScript, etc. So you don't do Salesforce, but because Salesforce is Apex is very similar to Java, and like the web component is on JavaScript, then it gives you like a really good knowledge. And with them, you get a position into a big firm. So you kind of break even in a couple of months. And then I would say, then you have the free stuff, like you have the Red Woman, but you have the Trailhead, the Pluralsight, and the Udemy, and the Salesforce community.
Yeah,
you learn a lot.
Community. Whenever I ask a question of people, what tip have you got? It's always the community. Always has the answer. That's always.
Yeah, somebody will have the answer. Yeah.
So remind me when you graduated our administrator course.
Last year in March.
Yeah, fantastic. I was thinking that's about when it was. So just in that short time, graduated the program, and now on this developer track, which is a great achievement. So really well done, especially in what has been, you know, quite a tough year for a lot of reasons. So, and I know you've got 2 kids, right? You're managing everything, so really well done to you. So just to finish, what's next for you? What are your plans for kind of the rest of the year? What do you want to achieve?
Rest of the year, be a better developer, focusing on complex Apex, API, and Lightning Web Components. And that I think with that ends, you know, homeschooling. Who knows, you know, they open, they close, who knows what happened. So then like that will be enough for the year.
Can you imagine, like 18 months ago, did you even know what half those words meant, like Apex and Java? Don't you think?
I started in April last year. I have no clue what was Apex. I realized that on an interview, and then since I built my vocabulary and my syntax.
Fantastic. It's a really great story, and really well done for all that you've achieved this year. Really great to hear. Well, I'll have to get some of those links and books and resources that you mentioned that we can include for people so they can find out more if they want to in the accompanying text that will come with this blog. So I think we have some really useful tips there. Thank you so much for your time today. Good luck with everything for the year ahead. Thanks for sharing your story. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.